The shuttle touched down on the alien world of THRYNN with a low hiss, scattering red dust across the landing zone. Commander Elias Kale tightened his harness and watched through the viewport as strange towers rose on the horizon. Living trees fused with crystalline spires, shimmering with pulses of light. He had read the briefings on THRYNN, but nothing prepared him for the living majesty of the planet. The mission was simple in words but monumental in scope. Open diplomatic relations with the Thrinian clans, a species of tall, lithe humanoids who had only recently agreed to allow humans to step onto their soil. Until now, all contact had been through intermediaries and remote channels. Elias's team of 6 would be the first humans to stand face-to-face with them. Steady breaths. Lieutenant Marave whispered from the seat beside him. She was a cultural specialist, trained in xenolinguistics and anthropology. Her excitement was tempered with nerves. Remember, every gesture matters. One wrong move, and we might be remembered as the humans who insulted their entire civilization. Elias gave a small nod. That's why you're here, Lieutenant. The shuttle doors hissed open, and warm, spiced air filled their lungs. The Thrinian delegation was already waiting. Towering figures draped in flowing dresses of layered silk-like fabric, shimmering with iridescence. Their eyes glowed faintly, bioluminescence pulsing like heartbeats. At the front was their leader, Chieftain Sailor, flanked by his daughter, a woman with silver hair that cascaded like liquid metal down her back. The humans advanced cautiously, lowering their weapons as a sign of peace. Mara stepped forward, ready to speak the prepared greeting in the Thrinian tongue. But before she could, something strange happened. One by one, the female Thrinian delegates stepped closer. With serene expressions, they lifted the outer layer of their dresses and pulled aside, revealing the hidden underlayer beneath. Instead of bare flesh, Elias saw glowing patterns etched across their bodies like living tattoos, pulsing with radiant energy. It was as if the fabric of their garments hid not modesty, but living light. Mara froze. This wasn't in the cultural briefings. The silver-haired daughter stepped directly in front of Elias. Her eyes met his, calm but expectant. Slowly, with deliberate grace, she revealed the markings beneath her dress. Her patterns were different, spirals of violet and gold that seemed to move as though alive. The air crackled with energy as if she had exposed something sacred. Elias stood rigid. His instincts told him to avert his gaze, but the intensity of her stare suggested otherwise. This was no accident. This was a custom. The silence stretched until Mara leaned close and whispered urgently, "They're waiting for you to respond. Do something, anything respectful." And so, uncertain but unwilling to dishonor their hosts, Elias placed his hand over his chest and bowed deeply. The daughter's eyes widened, her patterns pulsed brighter, and then she lowered her garment back into place with a small, knowing smile. The Thrinian delegation murmured approvingly. A greeting had been exchanged. The ritual was complete. That evening, Elias sat in the guest chambers provided by the Thrinian clan, the images replaying endlessly in his mind. "They don't greet with words," Mara explained as she studied the notes she had hastily scribbled. "They greet with exposure, revealing the bioluminescent patterns under their garments. It's a ritual of trust. In their culture, the markings are tied to their identity, ancestry, and inner spirit. To show them openly is to acknowledge someone as worthy of respect. And if I hadn't bowed," Elias asked. Mara grimaced. "You probably would have insulted the chief's daughter in front of the entire council." The tension of the day slowly unwound as the team discussed the implications. The custom was bizarre by human standards, but within the Thrinian worldview, it was deeply meaningful. Every line of light on their skin told a story of heritage and personal trials. To hide them was to remain guarded. To reveal them was to open oneself to trust. Over the following days, Elias attended meetings with the Thrinian elders. Each began the same way. The women of the clan revealed their markings, shimmering like constellations beneath the folds of their dresses. Each time, Elias responded with the same respectful bow, and the tension in the room gradually dissolved. But something else stirred beneath the surface. The chief's daughter, whose name Elias learned was Selira, watched him closely. Unlike the others, she did not hide her curiosity. During one gathering, as negotiations ended, she lingered behind. "You bowed," she said in surprisingly fluent English. Elias blinked. "You speak our language?" "Some of it," Selira admitted. We study voices across the stars. But you bowed instead of turning away. Few would have understood. He hesitated, sensing weight in her words. I didn't understand, but I respected what I saw. For the first time, she smiled, not the formal serenity of a diplomat, but something warm and personal. Perhaps that is enough. The following week unfolded with shared meals, cultural exchanges, and tours of the Phrynian lands. Elias marveled at their architecture, structures grown, not built, from living crystal and vine. He witnessed rituals where markings shifted colors to convey emotions, like a living language of light. Yet not all was harmony. Some factions of the clan distrusted humans, viewing them as opportunists who exploit Ticharwanen's natural resources. During one heated council, a rival elder accused Elias's crew of scheming to strip mine their sacred lands. The room darkened as the elder's markings turned red with anger. It was Elira who intervened. She stepped forward, revealing her full pattern once more, brighter than Elias had ever seen. They are not exploiters, she declared in her native tongue. This one, she gestured toward Elias, bowed before me when he could have mocked or turned away. He acknowledged my spirit. I trust him. The chamber fell silent. To reveal markings in such a public and forceful way was rare. By exposing her inner identity before the council, Elira had staked her honor on Elias's sincerity. Elias felt a chill run down his spine. What had begun as an accidental gesture was now the foundation of fragile trust between species. Ending. The final test of diplomacy came 2 weeks later, when humans were invited to the Great Gathering, a massive ceremony held once every decade, where clans converged to renew their bonds. For the first time, humans would attend. Thousands of Phrynians filled the crystalline amphitheater. Drones captured the spectacle from above, transmitting images back to Earth. The ceremony began with song, a haunting resonance that vibrated through the air like music and thunder combined. Then, as tradition dictated, the women of each clan stepped forward. In unison, they lifted their dresses and revealed the glowing symphony beneath, patterns of light cascading like rivers of stars. The amphitheater blazed with radiance, each design unique yet harmonious, weaving together like a living galaxy. Then came the moment of decision. The chief turned to Elias. Human commander, he said through a translator, you have been welcomed by my daughter and by my clan. But to join this gathering, you must answer as we do, not with words, with truth. Elias hesitated. He was no Phrynian. He bore no glowing markings beneath his uniform. What could he possibly reveal? Slowly, he removed his jacket, then his undershirt, exposing the scarred flesh across his chest, remnants of battles and survival. The amphitheater gasped in unison, for scars were not common among the Phrynians, whose healing arts erased such marks. These are my markings, Elias said, voice steady. They tell the story of my life, my mistakes, my survival, my choices. I cannot show you light, but I can show you the truth of who I am. For a long moment, silence reigned. Then, Elira stepped forward, lifting her dress to reveal her own glowing spirals. She placed her hand gently over his scar. Her light bathed the old wound in violet and gold. This is why I trust him, she declared. The amphitheater erupted in radiant approval. The ceremony concluded with songs of unity, and that night, under the alien stars, Elias realized a mission had succeeded. What had begun as a bewildering custom had become a bridge between worlds. He thought of Elira's smile, of the way her people's light pulsed like living truth. Perhaps one day, humans too would learn to reveal what lay beneath. Not glowing patterns, but the truths they carried within. And so, the phrase written in Earth's records carried a strange, almost humorous title. Bizarre alien custom. Female aliens greet humans by revealing what's under their dresses. But for those who lived it, it was no joke. It was a beginning of trust. It was a beginning of peace.